Hey, what's up, everyone? Happy Independence Day. This is Stashing Worthy Acorns. I'm your host, Russ, where I put $50 into the Stash app, the Worthy Bonds app, and the Acorns app. And I'm adding an additional $20 a month to each for 2 years. And I'm sharing that experience every week with you. So let's get to it. So it is Independence Day, and I want to kick this video off with a music video from a punk band that I love called the Descendents. And this song is called Merican, and it really encapsulates how I feel about the Independence Day holiday. So check this video out. It's not even 2 minutes long. It's going to be really quick. Let's see it.
We flipped our finger to the King of England. We stole our country from the Indians. With God on our side and guns in our hand, took it for our own. Built a nation dedicated to liberty, justice and equality. Doesn't look that way to you, it doesn't look that way to me. Sickest joke I know. Listen up, man, I'll tell you who I am. Just another stupid American. You don't wanna listen, you don't wanna understand. So finish up your drink and go home. I come from the land of Ben Franklin, Twain and Poe, where all women, Otis Redding, Ellington, the country that I love. But it's a land of the slaves and the Ku Klux Klan, Haymarket riot and the Great Depression, Joe McCarthy, Vietnam, sickest joke I know. Listen up, man, I'll tell you who I am. Just another stupid American. You don't wanna listen, you don't wanna understand. So finish up your drink and go home. I'm proud and ashamed. Every 4th of July, you got to know the truth before you say that you got pride. Now the cops got tased cause the kids got guns. Strings, pushing pills on everyone. Cancer from the ocean, cancer from the sun. Straight to hell we go. Listen up, man, I'll tell you who I am. Just another stupid American. You don't wanna listen, you don't wanna understand. So finish up your drink and go home. Listen up, man, I'll tell you who I am. Just another stupid American. You don't wanna listen, you don't wanna understand. So finish up your drink and go home. Finish up your drink and go home.
So yeah, you see what I mean? Really cool video. I love it. And when they put this video out, the lyric in the middle that says, "I'm both proud and ashamed every 4th of July," man, that hit me hard. That's how I've felt for a long time. And it's true. I think that we can look at the past, we can be both proud and ashamed, but we can all work together to try and make the future better where we won't be ashamed of the past. So it is Independence Day, and I just did a video where I told a sea story about 1998 when I was aboard the USS John C. Stennis CVN 74. It's an aircraft carrier, and we were the only aircraft carrier deployed on Independence Day in 1998. And what I want to relay to you is that I'm guessing that you are either home and near friends or family or loved ones, and you need to be thankful for that. Be thankful that you are going to sleep in your bed tonight, and you can go outside and walk around the block. You can do a myriad of things that you can't do when you're in the military. So anyway, what the video is about, they flew the Dallas Cowgirls on board, and the USO put the show on. It was really entertaining. We got to see the Cowgirls. We got to hang out with them. Here's a picture of some of the Cowgirls. They're signing autographs. So nice of them. And they broke the sound barrier. They did a supersonic flyby. They did ordnance demonstrations. And there was a Steel Beach party or a Steel Beach picnic. Pretty cool. So in the Navy, the flight deck is covered in steel, obviously. Well, it's steel with non-skid on top of it. And for special occasions, to break the monotony of being out to sea, they have grilling and music and just a little bit of kicking back and relaxing. They'll do a swim call. They'll lower one of the aircraft elevators and you can jump off, and then they swim around the back to the fantail to climb back up on board of the boat. And what the military taught me that I want to tell you is be thankful that whatever you do, if you're at a job you don't like, you have the freedom to quit that job if you want to. You will go home, you will Even if you work long hours and you have a bad day, you can quit, you can go home, you can see your friends, your family. Well, maybe not now with COVID, but you could go to a restaurant, to a bar, to a movie. You could do whatever you want. So here's how it works when you're on a naval vessel in the military and you are out at sea. The ship divides into two parts. It divides into a day crew and a night crew, or call them day check and night check. You work 12 on, 12 off, 7 days a week, and no breaks. Your break is your 12 hours off. And if that wasn't enough, you have to eat, sleep, shower, live, be around in close proximity, maybe not so close on an aircraft carrier, but it is a boat, and it did carry about 6,000 people when we had the air wing on board. So imagine if you have some people you work with you don't like. Congratulations. Now you have to work with them for 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. You have to live with them, eat with them, sleep with them, share the same living space, the whole gamut. So this is a little bit of knowledge and experience I want to impart to you, is that you can always quit. If you don't like your job, you can quit. So it did give me a little bit of tenacity to have stick-to-itness. And that's what I've transferred over into dividend growth investing, which is what I do, which is what I love. And as I say on my podcast, I'm a terrible trader. I get married to stocks. When you trade, you're only supposed to date stocks, not marry them. Not me, not this guy. I would end up falling in love and marrying each and every one. And I would miss my stop losses. I would miss my sell targets. I would never sell. I would just keep holding. So it was just such a natural evolution that I found dividend growth investing, because all you have to do is find those premium quality companies, you buy them, and you hold them. That's it. Hold them, collect the dividends, and then keep reinvesting those dividends, and then buy more shares of those companies. I'm like, I can do this. I can buy. If I can do it, you can do it. You can buy these super, super premium quality companies and just hold them. That's all you have to do. And time takes care of the rest. So I think we still have a bit of a long road to recovery. And I think things are going to be going down in price, which is why you have to have capital to be able to buy things. Whether it's real estate or stocks, you need to be able to have capital to take advantage of those depressed prices that will come about. We don't know how long they'll be here or when they will, but if I'm wrong, that's fine. I reserve the right to be wrong because it's my opinion. And like I said, with those inevitable storms that do pop up, the big quality companies that I love and I invest in, that I focus on, that I've been primarily focusing on during this whole COVID pandemic, they increased dividends. They have not only done well, they've been outperforming the epidemic. So I'm talking stocks like Johnson & Johnson, Costco, Walmart, General Mills, Campbell's Soup. Companies like that have been doing fantastic. Kroger, Target, they both raised their dividends. And I also have 3 more companies that raised their dividends for you. That's right, in my stash portfolio, Procter & Gamble, Johnson & Johnson, and Apple all raised their dividends during the pandemic, which shows that Warren Buffett, when he said, price is what you pay, but value is what you get, has never been more true. So a lot of young investors that are new will look at a price of a stock and say that's expensive just on the share price, but you can't do that. There's just not enough information. There's so many other factors that go into the value of a company. There's stocks that could be trading for $1 that are insanely expensive, and stocks that are trading for $350 that are incredibly undervalued and on sale. So as I'm putting these 3 portfolios of Stash, Worthy Bonds, and Acorns against each other, I picked 3 of my favorite dividend growth stocks in Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, and Apple, and they pretty much run the gamut of, you have your healthcare and then the consumer staples and then technology. So I didn't add any money this week to Stash because I made a goof up. I had accidentally set up the auto stash for Procter & Gamble, so I bought $5 of Procter & Gamble and Johnson & Johnson last week. So I put a pause this week, no new money in. I'm going to let that catch up. Stash is at $148.09. So that's been an overall dollar gain of $18.09 for a percentage of 13.92%. I think that's awesome. Check this out too in the portfolio. Look at Apple, up 39% from where I've bought it. So that means I've gained 39 cents on every dollar I've invested into Apple. And if I add up the dividends I've received from all three, it's only been 52 cents so far, which did get reinvested into each. There's a thing called DRIP, which is Dividend Reinvestment Program or Plan. So I get paid that money in dividends, and then it just immediately goes right back into those companies. So I love it. I haven't had any issues with Stash so far. Stash has been good. It's my style to pick quality blue chip premium companies like Procter & Gamble, Apple, and Johnson & Johnson. And if you don't want to pick individual companies, hang around for a minute and I'll talk about Acorns and what goes on in Acorns and how that's a better diversification away from picking individual stocks. So Worthy Bonds, I have two different things going on here at Worthy Bonds. I really like Worthy Bonds. Bonds are a diversification away from stocks. They're not going to move with the market, especially Worthy Bonds from Worthy Peer Capital. They're not going to move with the market. They don't go up, they don't go down, they don't have the volatility. But because they don't have the volatility, you're not going to get as big of a growth, or you don't have the chance to have such massive returns. It's very fixed, very steady, and that's what bonds do. It's just a diversification for you to put your money into. So what happened is Worthy Bonds had $50 million worth of bonds available in Worthy Peer Capital 1. They sold out of those. I got in right at the end. So they opened up Worthy Peer Capital 2, made another $50 million in bonds available. So in Worthy Peer Capital 1, I have $50.76. I have gained 76 cents of interest. And in Worthy Peer Capital 2, it's worth $90.61 for 61-cent gain of interest, for an overall total of $141.37. So on that money, I have made $1.37. It may not seem like a lot, but it's been very safe. And when I put a penny in, I've never been down in Worthy Bonds. It's just only been steady and slow upward momentum and movement. So, and then if you've been following me, I moved half of my emergency fund over to Worthy Bonds. I did that in my wife's name. So this is a look at what we've got going on there. We have $7,152 on 713 bonds. So we've initially put in $7,130 because each bond is $10. We've made $22.90 of interest, and that's been relatively quick. So we're being paid in interest 0.9933 cents a day, almost $1 a day. And once we have our new bonds transferring over here in a little bit, we're going to buy 2 a month. That will push that up and over $1 a day. Now that is not without risk. Worthy Bonds is not FDIC insured. There's always risk in any investment, which I'm doing. I'm risking for the 5% interest because, check this out, CIT Bank is only paying 0.96% interest. That is terrible. Now, that is underpacing inflation right now, so my money is being eaten up every year. The money I have in CIT Bank is worth less. But the way you can look at that is whatever's eaten up in inflation is the premium you're paying to have that money ready and available in case you should ever need it without having to take an additional loan, or that's going to create liability and interest for you. So that's the way I look at the emergency fund. Hopefully I don't ever have to use it, but if I do, I'm going to withdraw that money and make a loan to myself, and then we're going to just pay that back as quick as we can once things start rolling again to get that built back up. But ideally, they say you want at least 3 months of all your expenses in an emergency fund. So because it's so low, I might kick another couple thousand over to Worthy Bonds. I'm going to sleep on that, see how we feel about it. All right, and Acorns. So I know I knock Acorns, and I probably shouldn't, because if you don't know what you're doing and you're brand new and you want massive exposure to a bunch of stocks, to a whole basket, a whole swath of stocks, a whole plethora of stocks, you can go to something like Acorns and you give them $5. You pick if you want an aggressive portfolio. If you want it to be conservative, they'll invest more in bonds. But they use Vanguard funds, which is totally cool. Those are low-cost mutual funds. And you can see I'm actually up over Stash. Acorns is at $148.97. That's been an overall gain of $16 for a percentage gain of 12.31%. Hasn't been as exciting, but check this out. I have received a total of 68 cents in dividends since I've started with Acorns. And here's two recent dividends I've gotten. 0.6 cents from the VB, which is small company ETF, and 12 cents from VNQ, which is basically a real estate ETF. So I'm even getting dividends from Acorns. The only thing I just don't like about ETFs is they're funds that somebody picks what you're going to be invested in, and they pick the basket of stocks, which I would just rather pick solid blue chip companies like IBM, companies that don't have a huge amount of growth, but they're so big and they have so much money coming in that they're able to pay out really handsome dividends each and every quarter to us, the shareholders, and then we get to reinvest that money and let it compound and grow. And then here's a quick snapshot. You can also look at the dollar percentage of how they have that money distributed. And yeah, I mean, so we got $59 into the large companies. You can even diversify. Boom, look at that. $29 in international stocks. So I'm diversified all over the globe, and $15 into real estate. This is fantastic. If you really just want to get money into the market and get it working for you, look, I'm still getting dividends in Acorns. The reason I'm not a fan of it is because right now I'm paying Acorns money to pay Vanguard money to pick which stocks we're going to be invested in. So right now there's two middlemen. And even if I was doing this on my own and just picking the Vanguard funds, I'm still paying a middleman. But it's not wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong. If that's what you're comfortable with and that's what works for you, and there's a very strong argument to be made that you can pick the wrong individual stocks and underperform the market instead of just going with one of the mutual funds. So yeah, if anybody doesn't know what they're doing and they just want to get money in and get started and get the ball rolling while they're learning, I would absolutely recommend Acorns just to get you going and get you in and get your money working for you. So I also have a podcast called Dapper Dividends. I do twice a week, every Tuesday and Friday night. I'm releasing episodes. Please check that out on all the major podcatchers. You can go to Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, I think Breaker. Follow me on Twitter, please. Communicate with me. I'm on Twitter posting daily, trying to start some stuff, maybe make a ruckus. And actually to speak to that, what I do is I try and objectively look at things, and I like to play the devil's advocate. I think it's healthy. I don't want to live in an echo chamber. I think that's very unhealthy. So unfortunately, a lot of times when I try and play devil's advocate, it comes off as being trolling or snarky. People don't get it, and that's the problem with Twitter. You can't always convey your emotions, but I mean no disrespect. And a lot of times if I see 50 people all saying something that's just great and wonderful, I say, well, what about this? So let's talk. I want to talk about the opposite side. There's a good and bad to everything. To think there's only a good side to everything is absolutely nuts. Don't do that. Try and be unbiased. Try and be objectionable. All right, explanatory rant is now over. I am not a licensed financial advisor. This is not financial advice. I am your humble host of Stashing Worthy Acorns, aka some guy in the Chicago area on YouTube making videos. So do your own research. This is my knowledge shared for fun and entertainment. Speak with a professional, speak with a fiduciary, and do your own due diligence, because you can lose money in any of these apps or any venture in the stock market. I want to challenge you to do something today that you can save money on, no matter how small. If it's going to get coffee one less time a week, anything you can do at all to save money, because when those stocks go on sale, you're going to want to have money to buy them. You're going to want to be able to buy stuff on sale. Imagine if you went to a store, they had a massive flash sale, and you spent all your money, and now you can't buy anything, and you'd have to put it on the credit card, which is equally as bad, because interest you pay is a penalty, but interest you receive is a reward. So let's receive rewards. Check out one of my other videos, and I'll talk to you guys next week.